Hey everybody, welcome to Scary Stories series, and tonight we have a very special treat. Not only is it our film episode, but we have a fan film, so let's jump right into it. Night, a small apartment. Rain taps lightly against the window. Inside it's mostly quiet. A ticking clock, the low hum of a fridge. A single warm table lamp lights the living room. Emma is lying on the couch, scrolling through her phone, eyes tired, face lit by the screen. The lamp flickers, she looks up, frowns. Seriously, she taps the lamp base. The flickering stops. She sighs, goes back to her phone. Another flicker, then a crack of thunder. The light dies completely. Darkness fills the room. Emma's phone glows faintly in her hand. She sits up. Her voice is quiet. Okay, fuse. She walks across the apartment and flips the ceiling light switch. It clicks on. Bright light fills the room. Behind her for just a split second, a tall humanoid shadow in the corner, unmoving, watching. She turns. Nothing. Emma forces a nervous laugh. Get a grip. She enters the bathroom, light on, opens the medicine cabinet mirror. No reflection of anything strange. But as she closes it, the light above her head flickers, then dies. The bathroom is pitch black except for the light coming in from the hallway. She moves toward the door. In the mirror behind her, the shadow is now inside the bathroom. Closer, she freezes, turns around, nothing there. She reaches out and flips the hallway light switch. On, off, on, off. Each time the light goes out, the shadow is closer. Breathing quickens. Her hand trembles. She leaves the light on and rushes back to the living room. She grabs a flashlight from a drawer, clicks it on. It works. Emma speaks aloud. There's nothing here, just my brain messing with me. She paces the room, opens the fridge, grabs a bottle of water, closes the door. In the dark reflection of the metal fridge, the shadow stands behind her. She doesn't see it. She turns, walks back to the couch. Suddenly the power cuts completely. Total darkness. Emma panics, fumbles with her phone flashlight. It clicks on. Weak beam. She sweeps it across the room. Nothing. She breathes, then turns slowly. The flashlight lands on a face not human. Black eyes, pale skin, long arms. She screams, drops the phone. It hits the floor, light still facing upward. Shadows flicker on the ceiling as the creature moves unnaturally toward her. Emma crawls back, breathing hard, finds the flashlight, trembling hands lifted, but the battery dies. Silence. She whispers to herself, lights. Just get to the lights. She runs for the fuse box in the hallway closet. Flips, switches, nothing happens. Still dark. Behind her, a creak. She turns around slowly, only darkness then, to glowing eyes. Inches from her, a scream. Everything cuts to black. Moments later the power surges back on. Bright light floods the apartment. But Emma is gone. On the ground her flashlight cracked. On the wall where the shadow once stood scratched in black. Always stay in the light. I love this one. Now, the first thing I have to say is good job to all the people involved with this production. You did a fantastic job. This was filmed in only 2 days with a very small crew and cast, and it shows that you don't need big budget to make a horror movie. You just need a good idea and then work hard to bring it to life. I think you did a great job with this, and congratulations on getting this far in the process. The premise is very interesting and actually quite original. The whole idea of a creature that only comes out when the lights go out, that's not something you hear every day. And since it takes advantage of the classic fear of the dark, it immediately connects with the audience. Also the way you introduce the creature, just showing us the shadow first. And then what's really cool is having the character see it as well, because then it becomes real for us as an audience member, you know. Like if she doesn't see it, then it could be all in our heads. But when she sees it too, then it makes it feel more grounded. And also, this story plays on another common fear, being alone at night. That's a big one for me. I cannot stand being alone after dark. I always have to have somebody with me. Now, the main reason for this is that I grew up in a violent home, and so nighttime meant more danger and more fighting and more tension. And since most of the attacks happened at night, it kind of conditioned me to associate nighttime with bad things happening. So I've carried that with me my entire life. But it is such a common fear that you can relate to it without having to have a reason or excuse for it. Most people fear the dark. We don't like being alone in the dark. And the reason for that is usually because we never know what might be hiding in the shadows. This is a very simple story with very little plot. It's almost entirely driven by suspense. And the best way to build suspense is to take your time. Unfortunately, this one felt a little rushed to me. I understand you had 2 days to film this, but it seemed like things were happening pretty quickly. For example, Emma checks the light switch and then the fuse box. And yeah, I get that these are logical things for her to do, but she doesn't even try to call anybody. She doesn't even try to leave the apartment. She doesn't even check if the front door is locked. She just kinda runs around in circles and gets freaked out. And look, I get that that's part of the terror of the situation. Like she's kind of in a panic mode, but I would have liked to have seen her try to problem solve a little bit more. Maybe try to find a weapon or figure out some other way to escape the apartment. And also, I think we needed more time in the dark. There were a lot of moments where the lights would go out and then come back on and then go out again and come back on. And the thing is, each time the lights went out, it should have felt scarier than the last time, right? Because you're building up the suspense. But instead it started losing my attention because I was like, oh, here we go again. So my suggestion would be to cut down on the number of times that the lights go out and instead focus on building suspense during those few moments. Like maybe show us more of the monster or have it interact with Emma a little bit more, or at least hint that it's getting closer or getting more active. I would have liked to have seen a few more scares built in there because truthfully, there aren't many in this one. Yeah, there's the moment where it jumps out at her when she's looking for the flashlight, and that's pretty effective. But other than that, there's not much else. So just play up the fear factor a little bit more. Make us feel terrified for Emma. And to do that, you need to spend more time in those dark scenes. Also, there's one thing that didn't quite add up to me, and that's why Emma kept going back to the living room. I mean, obviously it's the main area and it makes sense to stay in the room with the phone and the flashlight and the weapons. But she starts out in the living room and then goes to the bathroom, then back to the living room, then to the bathroom again, then back to the living room again. And at no point does she try to barricade herself in the living room or close the door or turn off the lights in the bathroom or put something in front of the door to keep whatever this thing is out. So I thought that was a little strange. And finally, I wanted to ask about the ending. Why did you decide to have the power come back on? It kind of defeated the purpose of the story if she is safe once the lights come back on. And yes, you do end the movie with the text saying, always stay in the light, but wouldn't it be better if we saw her trying to stay in the light and failing at it? Like if the lights come on and the monster is still there and then it attacks her or something. I think that would have been a little more effective. But overall, I thought this was a good story with an interesting monster, and I thought he did a great job bringing it to life. Again, this is a very impressive project, and you should be proud of yourselves for making it. Congratulations on getting this far in the process. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Night Shift. And remember, don't turn off the light.